Well, why don't you talk about
Hi, everybody. This is our first live stream. We're still trying to get all of the um, kinks worked out, so we apologize. I don't see anyone on yet, so um, we're going to take a few minutes. We do have some questions that people ask us a lot, and we're going to be going over some of those. Everybody seems to want to know why we homestead, so we'll go over a few of those questions. Just give us just a second and we will get started. So Chuck, one of our first questions that I get asked a lot at work and different things is why we started homesteading. Actually, I guess we should first answer the question, what's the difference between homesteading and farming?
so sorry, I'm trying to let people know on Facebook that we are live at the same time I'm doing this. I'm multitasking as usual. So the similarities. Homesteads and farms, you grow plants, you grow animals, you do chickens and ducks and geese and goats and cows to different extremes. Some people do more cows, some people do more chickens. The big difference is um, homesteaders, by and large, consume 99% of what they grow. They grow for their own. They do sell stuff, like, for example, we sell some of our eggs and stuff to help pay our chicken feed, but that's not the sole purpose of our homestead.
No, it's to furnish food for our homestead, our family, friends, things like that. Whereas a farm um, generally is growing food for the public. So they will sell, their cows to the public or the beef, or they'll sell their vegetables, take them to farmers markets, have a market garden or something like that. Um, so that's the biggest difference, I believe, between homesteading and farming. Although I would say some farmers are homesteaders and some homesteaders are
Oh,
farmers. So.
absolutely. And some people get confused. They think it's a matter of size. They think homesteads are
Mm-hmm.
small and farms are huge. There are some absolutely huge homesteads
Yes.
that would rival any farm. And there's also some um, small farms that would make you think that they're homesteads. It's all the intent of what they
Mm-hmm.
do with the stuff that they grow.
And homesteading basically can be done on any amount of property. I mean, some of the people that we follow on YouTube, like Weedham and Reap, they live in a neighborhood, but their neighborhood allows some farm animals. So they have animals in a garden and all of that. Um, and then there are others who have acres upon acres, and are able to have cows and spread out everything. So homestead, you could even, I would venture to say you could even be a homesteader in an apartment.
Oh, absolutely, because it'll be a small scale,
Yes.
but you can grow microgreens and
Herbs,
herbs and all kinds of other
tomatoes, have
stuff.
like a patio
Yeah,
garden.
absolutely. You can do like a non-circulating, cracky kind of hydroponics thing in a 5-gallon bucket
Mm-hmm.
or a 20-gallon tote, and be growing your feed and stuff. You feed your food and stuff. So definitely you can do it anywhere. You don't necessarily have to have 3 acres, 5 acres, 10 acres.
Right.
There are homesteaders that grow literally on the. As a matter of fact, when we used to live in the other place, I tried growing on our back patio.
Yes.
But the back patio was covered by shades of oak trees for 7.5 hours out of an 8-hour sunshine day. So
Yeah.
it
So it's
wasn't very successful.
no, not very successful at all. I don't think we've got much of anything to grow.
Mold, and algae.
If anyone's come online, go ahead and check in. Let us know where you're coming from because we'd love to hear from you.
And there is a little bit of a lag. So I'm watching as I'm looking down doing the post on Facebook to let people know that we're here. That we're here, and
Yep, and I'm also trying to keep an eye on the chat in case anyone shows up and asks us a question. Um,
do one on the Bowser Journal Facebook. I did one on my personal, but I can't seem to get to it. Well, welcome.
There's Ford.
Ford Ferguson, my favorite buddy. How you doing, Ford? You got to type in bigger letters because I have my reading glasses on. You know where I'm from. I do know where you're from. You're from the South.
Ford is our one and only subscriber right now.
To the live stream.
To the live stream.
Absolutely.
He gets our undivided attention.
Yes, we're currently sitting on our back patio with the house that way and the trail that's behind us facing that way. We had to move Barbie's de facto green gardens to make room for the laptop. And I just...
You spilled it all over me.
I just spilled it all over you and me.
Oops.
Oops. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, Ford, you got any questions? Carol's on. Hi, Carol. Carol's from Maryland. So we're getting some people in.
Thank you for joining us. We just got through answering the difference between a homestead and a farm. So if y'all have any questions, feel free to type them in the chat and we'll get to them. But one of the questions I do get asked from time to time, and I'm sure Chuck does too, is why did we start homesteading?
Yep.
So you want to take that one away?
Yeah, if you finish typing it for me. Okay, so it's kind of funny. We kind of evolved into homesteading. We didn't necessarily jump right into homesteading. My whole journey started after the 2004 hurricane season. That was, in case you don't know what that references is, that was the year that Florida got hit by not one, not two, not three, not four, but five. You count them, 5 hurricanes that season. And 2 of them crossed directly over the tops of our house. At the time, this was pre-Barbie, so I wasn't married to her yet. Didn't even know her yet. And I was living with my kids. They were all growing up at the time. So we had 5 kids in the house, something like that. No power, no food, no electricity. And I said, this is not happening again. So my journey actually started via self-sufficiency. I wanted to become more self-sufficient. Wanted to have more, food and water stored up. So I started doing research and I found this podcast called The Survival Podcast with Jack Spirko, and started listening to him. And when I first started listening to him, it was I was your typical new person becoming a survivalist. I had guns, ammo, gold, silver, guns, ammo, gold, silver. And when he would start talking about permaculture and hugelculture and growing gardens, I was like, I'd delete. Or reference it back to a thing we went to one time. I would delete him off and wouldn't listen to him. And then I started listening to him because I was running out of stuff to listen to and started getting really interested in some of the things that he was saying. And that's why I talked about growing some of the stuff on our back patio when we lived in our other place down in the city, and we weren't very successful. And then we just started kind of looking for property, and then we moved up here, and then I had to kind of convince my wife to the whole homesteading thing. She wasn't on board when we first moved here. I'll let you tell about that.
Neither one of us grew up with farm animals. I mean, both of our parents, I think, may have had a small garden at one time or another when we were kids. But other than that, that's really the only thing that, I guess the only way we had been subjected to gardening or farming or any of that. So when we moved here, the goal was, he started talking about wanting to get animals and wanting to get, a garden going and all of that. And I'm like, okay, so I just kind of went along for the ride and for a little bit and just listened. I didn't really do much of I wasn't very enthusiastic about it, I guess.
That's a nice way of saying it.
Yeah. So then the first thing that happened was I found out about some essential oils, and he apparently had already been researching it. And he's like, go ahead, let's, try some essential oils. So we got into doTERRA, and I'm actually a doTERRA wellness advocate because we wanted to find alternatives to medicine that we can use, instead of pharmaceuticals. and be healthier and take control of our health. So we kind of got into that a little bit, and we started eating more healthy, eating organic, and then we were introduced or decided to get a couple of chickens, and we got 6 chickens. That was our first animals. We didn't really have much of a garden at that point. So we got 6 chickens, and apparently chickens are a gateway animal, because from there we ended up getting everything else that we have. Now we have we've had pigs, we got harvested our own chickens. We've got, we have 14, 16. We have 16 laying hens right now, a couple of guard geese, some laying ducks. We have goats. We have baby goats that are 2 days old.
So watch out for more goat tails videos. We've been accumulating footage of the babies and stuff. They're just starting to get to the point where they start jumping around a little bit. So, and by the way, Ford, we don't ask you to ask questions because we know that you are driving. So
Ford did say it's hard to ask anything while driving,
yes.
And there's no better medicine than homegrown food.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And hey, if you don't mind, Ford, hop on the Zella channel and tell some of the guys over there, come on over to the live stream. Let's pack this place up. And sorry, that was my phone book going out there. But the reason I encouraged her with the whole essential oil thing is that was definitely one of the skills that I had identified that I wanted us to do
later in our journey.
But I was already well into doing everything else. I had my plate was already overstuffed with a whole bunch of stuff I was trying to learn. So then when she said that, I was like, go for it.
Yeah. And then, as we got more and more animals, we're like, we love animals. So for us, harvesting our own animals is a hard thing to do. But as we got more animals, I decided I wanted to get more into gardening. So every year we've gotten a little bit better and a little bit better. And this year was the first year we've actually, I would say, had a successful garden. We were able to eat a lot from it, and I was able to can some things from it, so that was good. Especially my pickles, because I can go through a jar of pickles in a week.
Yep. So our first garden, I knew coming out of the gate, I knew that we weren't going to be very successful because neither one of us had gardening experience. So I laid the foundation. I laid down the good concrete foundation. I told Barbie over and over and over and over again, we will kill more than we will grow. Consider this first season a learning season.
And the first 3 seasons ended up being
but each year we killed less and less.
We learned something different. We learned about a different pest, or we learned, okay, that didn't work in that place. So because you have to plant in the right place, right plant in the right place.
Right.
Which apparently for my tomatoes is right off of my back porch.
Which I don't want to do the whole I told you so. But when I planted the tomatoes when we first moved here, I planted them right off the deck, and those things grew to 6 feet tall, and they were growing gangbusters. And then I came home from a road trip, and they were like stalks.
Hornworms.
We didn't know it, but we had hornworms, and they were gone. And if you don't know this about hornworms, they can devastate your tomato plants literally overnight. And it really did, And then after that, Barbie was like, I don't want tomatoes off our deck. Put them down over there. In homesteading and farming, you have these zones, right? Zone 0 would be your back deck. Zone 1 would be, 50 feet, 100 feet out, and keep going until you get further out. The further out your zones are, those plants should be more self-sufficient. They shouldn't need as much care. Yeah. Because if if you plant the plants, this is more for Barbie than you guys. If you plant the plants all the way down in the corner of the lot,
we don't take care of them.
We don't take care of them. We don't weed them. We don't water them. And even though we have an automatic watering system and stuff, and it causes issues. And that was part of the biggest reason for the first 2 seasons. You go and answer something now. I'm going to respond. I'm going to put my phone.
Okay, so another question I get asked a lot is, how can you harvest and eat an animal that you love?
You answer, because I'm.
Okay. like I said a while ago, it is difficult. We've harvested 2 batches of meat chickens now, and our first 2 pigs. And I would say the first time that we harvested, we couldn't eat them for several months. And I was listening to another one of the YouTube people that we follow, homesteaders that we follow, Roots and Refuge. And she said it better than I've heard anyone ever say it. Basically, she said, if I'm going to be a meat eater, then I want to do it responsibly. And if I'm going to eat meat, why wouldn't I eat an animal that I know was fed well, was cared for, was loved, had a great life, and only had one bad day that they really didn't know about, rather than an animal that I know was treated poorly, didn't have much of a life, like the meat that you get at a grocery store. And that's basically how it is. I mean, we started this homestead journey because we saw how broken the food system was, and we wanted to know what our food, our animals that we are eating ate. We wanted to know what was in our food that we grew in our garden, that it wasn't, pumped full of different chemicals and all of that. So, I mean, I think that's our biggest reason. I'd rather know that they lived a good life.
And it's if you become disassociated with your animals, you may not take care of them as well. I mean, there's an emotional connection there. You tend to want to, the mother or the father instinct kicks in, and you want to kind of help provide for them and stuff. Yes, there's still that bad day, and that is a huge hurdle to try to cross.
It is. But, I mean, it's costing them their life, so why wouldn't it cost me something if I'm going to be a meat eater? Right. It's the way I look at it. Any other questions? Ford says, I love that Georgia accent.
I do too, George. I mean, Ford. Yeah, I'm testing the bit rate. Maybe that might make it a little bit better in the performance there.
So if anyone watches this later, they catch up on the live stream. Tell everybody a little bit about our homestead. What we have. I mean, what do we do here?
We grow food, and we learn new skills, and so we've got all different kinds of animals. And one of the guys in the room, Ford Ferguson, is my rabbit mentor. He's helped us with some guidance on our rabbits and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So we have the rabbits, we have geese, we have ducks, we have goats, chickens, a cow, 15 garden beds,
and aquaponics.
Aquaponics.
2 food bars.
2 food bars, yeah.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
Yes.
No.
And we are definitely trying to increase those skills, and we're getting more and more. Like, for example, this year Barbie is knocking the ball out of the park with cucumbers.
Yes.
Holy Toledo!
We had a good cucumber year.
Yeah, we have all kinds of cucumbers, and she's also mastered making pickles and all kinds of stuff. And then the last season, I think our success was goat milk and goat cheeses.
Mm-hmm.
And,
yes, and as soon as we get our male goat away from our female goats, he's not in the pen with them anymore because we don't want him to impregnate our one who's not pregnant anymore. But he's still close enough that his scent will affect their milk. So we are endeavoring on a new project and building a bachelor pad for him and the cow that's back in what we call our back 40, although it's not 40 because we only have 3 acres.
Yeah, if you're thinking of building something, now's not the good time to buy wood.
No.
The price of lumber has gone through the roof. I was looking at 4x4 by 12s. Yeah, 4x4 by 12s. They were almost $30 a piece. Where before I could buy them for like $15 a piece, $18 a piece, something like that.
Yeah.
But we have to do it because we got to get the male goat and the cow away from the female goats. That will help with.
The milk won't taste goaty. It'll be really good milk then, and the boys, our grandboys, love it. We drink it. Our neighbor drinks it. We take her some in exchange for some mulch because her husband and son work on they do trees for a living. So
right.
So we kind of barter with that.
Right.
And I make cheese from it. I've done Chev, which is just like your standard goat cheese. I've made sour cream. I've made cream cheese. I tried making butter, but I didn't like it. Had a goaty flavor to it, even though the milk didn't. Although I have a cream separator now, so I'm going to try it again this year. And this year I also want to try to make mozzarella. So we'll do that when the grandboys are coming over. They can help me pull.
Yep. So what's in the future for the Bowser Journal? In case you don't know, I know Ford knows this, but we've also created a podcast where we put out at least one episode a week, sometimes two.
Called Southern Homesteading.
Called Southern Homesteading, which really just kind of ties in with what we're doing here, some things. And so we got that going on. And then we also...
we have a Facebook group.
We do?
Well, Facebook page.
Gotcha. The
Bowser Journal Facebook page. So a lot of people interact with us on there. We also have an Instagram page, which a lot of people interact with us.
You got a question.
How much is the cream separator? We got like a mid-range. I think it was right around $250, $300.
We'll tell people, I know Ford knows what it is, but maybe somebody else in there doesn't know.
Basically, you take the raw milk that you get and you pour it in, and it has these, somehow it separates the cream from the skim. So it skims off the skim milk. That's why it's called skim milk, and leaves you with just the cream. And the cream is what you use to make butter and ice cream, and you can make yogurt and cultured cream.
You don't necessarily have to have a cream separator.
No, but you don't get as much of the cream if you don't.
Right, and so certainly a lot easier. And one of the things that you learned, the most valuable thing on the homestead is time. Mm-hmm. So we're always looking for processes to not be so demanding on our time. For example, automatic watering systems. Right? So if we had to hand water every one of our garden beds,
it wouldn't get done.
She would be out here for a couple hours every night, right? So, these little things give us a little more time so we can venture into new areas. Another new thing that we're going to do, so we want to do this once a week, probably on Wednesday nights, where we're going to get on to a live section so people can kind of, get in and talk with us, stuff like that. I also got a webcam camera coming. I want to do a 15-minute thing in the morning called Coffee and Baby Goats.
Nice.
And I'm going to go out into the little barn while the babies are still small, and I'm going to put them on, do a live session.
You going to drink coffee?
I'll drink some Earl Grey tea.
He doesn't drink coffee.
Yeah. So we'll have that one as well, too. So our whole goal is to kick up our whole media content thing, because we are closing in on 1,000 subscribers.
When we hit 1,000 subscribers, will you take a sip of coffee?
No. No. Are you crazy?
It's for the subscribers.
When we hit 10,000 subscribers,
okay,
I will drink an entire cup of coffee.
I'm gonna hold you to that.
Yeah, all right. Well, chance of that happening are slim to none in Slim Lift Town. So we got those going on. We got some future stuff coming on. We got some idea for content. Moringa videos coming up. There was another video series that we were going to do. I bought the stuff to do another cracky series. Last season I did the cracky cucumbers, so we got some more cracky non-circulating hydroponic stuff that you can do in your small little.
And for those of you who don't know what cracky is, it's the last part there. It's a hydroponic system, basically.
It's a non-circulating hydroponic.
That you can do with just a container.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I did last year. Now you can do it with any size container. I did it with a 55-gallon drum. But people have done it with 5-gallon drums. Yeah. You pour the water in, you put the right mix of chemicals in, right fertilizers and stuff in. You put the plant in that, and as the plant consumes the water, air gets to the root. You don't have to water the thing. and it's off the ground, so bugs are less of an issue. I won't say that they're not an issue, but they are less of an issue. And so it's great for people who don't like to garden.
Ford asks, is goat milk cream harder to separate than cow's milk? I will have to let you know that, because I have used my cream separator once, and it was on raw cow milk. We bought enough that I was going to try to do butter and ended up not getting enough from it, so we ended up with cream instead, which was fine. But I have not had a chance yet to try separating the goat milk in it. I know that their cream content is not as high as like a milk cow, but I'd say last time when we milked, I did not have a cream separator, and when it settled, I did them in half-gallon glass jars. I probably got anywhere from a ½ inch to an inch of cream on top, but that's still not as much as you would get, I don't think, from Jerseys and Guernseys and things like that. So.
We will report back to you, Mr. Ford, on that and let you know. Maybe even do a future video, or maybe do a comparison video when we start milking the goats, which will be very soon.
Yes.
We'll go down and buy some raw milk, and we'll measure them out, and then we'll run them both through the creamer. That way it's scientific. We'll even weigh it into the grams for you if you want. So is there anything that you guys want to see in our future content? Any suggestions, stuff that you might want to see? Put that in the comment box. But there's also a lag, so I got to wait for it to catch up. It's kind of hard to talk to a screen when you're looking at a picture of yourself.
You're not supposed to be looking there. You're supposed to be looking at the
I understand that, but would you quit bossing me around? You're not the boss of Chuck.
I know.
I'm the boss of Chuck.
Yes, you are, baby.
I'm the king of the house.
You are. And I'm the queen.
When she gives me permission to be the king.
I'm the queen.
Alrighty, so we are 30-something minutes already into this. I thought we were. Yes, we are.
19 minutes in.
Oh. So that what's this one says 32.
I don't know.
That one says what?
Did you start recording it? It's 7:19. We started this at 7, didn't we?
I don't know. Well, we'll figure it out. As I said, we're very.
Hopefully, there's not a lot of stuff at the beginning. We'll have to look at it and make sure. And if it is, tell people.
Edit it out.
Yeah. Can you edit it out?
Yeah.
Okay. If not, we'll say, "Hey, start this video at 10
minutes
and 20
I'll put in the time code thing in the description, so you can just click right on it and skip right past it. Like I do all our videos. I bet you didn't know that. So if you go down in the description, I've got it broken down into chapters. So it'll say, 0.000 introduction, 1 minute 30 seconds, whatever, and you can click right on the chapter and it goes right to that point in the video. That way, if we're doing multiple subjects and you only want to see the rabbits, you don't want to see the chickens, you don't want to see the goats, you don't want to see this pretty mug, you can click right on the chapter and go straight to the one you want. So.
And we have other information in there too. I think. Are you still putting like the cameras we use for YouTube and all of that? We have our Amazon affiliate link in there. So if you want to support us in an easy way, use that link to go to Amazon, and anything you buy during that 24 hours, we get a little portion back from Amazon because it's an affiliate link.
And it doesn't cost you anything to do
It
that.
doesn't. No. So I think that's the first time I've ever mentioned that.
Yeah, exactly. So don't forget, podcast, Southern Homesteading, Instagram page, Facebook page, YouTube channel. Subscribe to all of them. All of them.
And help us get to our first 1,000 on YouTube. If you have friends who you think might be interested in our content, please let them know. Yeah,
we're at 826 as of, right before this live broadcast. And that's another reason why we're doing the broadcast, is because YouTube favors live streams. So we want to do more and more to increase more people coming to the channel and stuff. So get to that 1,000. And
it also helps people get more of an idea of who we are in person. This is unedited, so it's, Yeah, it's not polished, because you can get our weird, quirky sense of humor.
The stuff you see on the videos is very edited. You don't see me hitting my finger with the hammer and then saying things that would get my channel to be thrown off the air. You don't see those kinds of things. So. But we appreciate you guys coming out today.
Yes.
And see you next Wednesday night. Until then,
Live your own story.
live your own story.